This episode of Ham Talk Live is brought to you by Tower Electronics. For connectors, cables, and more, call 920-435-2973 or visit pl-259.com. And by ICOM. Heard it, worked it, logged it. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information about ICOM radios.
It's Ham Radio.
Hey there, everyone. It's time for Ham Talk Live, episode number 300. We made it to 300. It's a Parks on the Air Summer, recorded on July 1st, 2022. I'm your host, Neil Rapp, WB9VPG. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Ham Talk Live. Tonight, we're joined by Vance Martin in 3VEM to talk about some big news items coming from Parks on the Air. And last episode, Mitch Ahrenstorff, 80HJ, and Andrew Northam, KE8FZT, were here to talk about Walmart parking lots on the air. And got a chance to get in on 3 passes. I did get one whole contact, but had like 100 for my point total because of all the bonuses. So that was kind of cool. But anyway, hopefully you had a chance to participate in Wamplota. There's a lot of fun pictures and videos out there of people and shopping carts and everything else. So if you missed that show, you can listen anytime at hamtalklive.com or on your favorite podcast app or over on YouTube. And don't forget, you can catch Ham Talk Live rebroadcast on Saturday afternoons on WTWW 5085 AM. And they usually run that about 3:30 p.m. Eastern time. So I'll be back with Vance right after this word from Tower Electronics right here on Ham Talk Live.
Thanks for choosing Tower Electronics. How may we help you today? We have PL259s, we have in connectors, we have SMA adapters, we have BNC adapters. What can I show you today?
Where's the tower?
Well, we don't actually have a tower with us, but we have all kinds of things you can use with a tower. We have power poles, antennas, soldering irons, and meters.
Where's the tower?
Ma'am, that's the name of our company. We can't haul towers to all the Hamfests across the country that we visit, but we have almost every connector and adapter you would need to connect your antenna that's on your tower.
I don't think there's a tower back there. I really don't.
Tower Electronics. Visit us at a Hamfest near you or call 920-435-2973 or see our whole catalog at pl-259.com. Sorry, one thing we don't have is a tower.
And on the Tower Electronics Hamfest schedule, July 9th, there'll be in Oak Creek, Wisconsin. That's on the south side of Milwaukee. July 30th, they'll be in Winchester, Indiana. And August 6th, they'll be in Elkhart, Indiana. And, of course, a couple of weeks after that, they'll be down in Huntsville, Alabama. But you can visit them anytime at pl-259.com.
The grass may be greener on the other side, but at least we don't have to mow it. You're listening to Ham Talk Live with Neil Rapp.
And welcome back to Ham Talk Live. Tonight we're talking some Parks on the Air with Vance Martin in 3VEM, and he joins us on the Orlando Amateur Radio Club and Hamcation Zoom line. And you'll hear a lot about Vance and what's going on with POTA. So here we go. Vance Martin, N3VEM, became aware of ham radio as a teenager when he stumbled onto some of his dad's old radio books, but didn't become a ham until April 2014. But since then, he's been doing all kinds of things. He passed his extra exam in 2015, been working on CW, and spent a lot of his early years on the air from a mobile station. Now he's got his nice shack at home, but still does a lot of mobile stuff, and he's big into parks on the air and the portable operations. So, Vance, thanks for coming back on the show to talk about a busy summer for POTA.
Yeah, I'm glad you were willing to have me. There's all kinds of exciting stuff going on right now, so we've got all kinds of exciting POTA things to share.
Yeah, well, summer is definitely upon us. We've been out of school here for about a month out here in the Midwest. And I was just actually at a park just a little bit ago. I was doing a satellite activation, trying to get used to the new handheld and get everything ready to go before we take off to put a 6 Yankee in front of my call sign here in a couple of weeks. But want to make sure everything was working right, and luckily it was. So I was out at a park and thought, we've got all kinds of questions we can ask about this. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. But you've got some big things coming up. I know you asked several of us out here in the ham radio media to be presenters for some plaques and for this big plaque event that's coming up. So tell us all about the big summer POTA plaque event.
You bet. Yeah, we're coming up on the time of year where basically since 2018, I think was the first year we did it, where every summer, in conjunction with what we call our seasonal Support Your Parks events, we've been giving away plaques. So the first year we did it, there was just 2 plaques that we gave away, one for the activator that made the most contacts and one for the hunter that made the most contacts. And the event was very popular, so it grew from there. So this year, the event comes up on July 16th and 17th, so it's right around the corner. And the list of plaques has now grown to, I think we're up to 17 plaques that are available. So it's for basically each for activators and hunters. There's plaques for most contacts, most voice contacts, most CW, most digital. And then we have a rover and a chaser, which is similar to like the VHF, UHF grid square rover crowd. So just moving between parks instead of moving between grid squares. And then we have a club category for clubs that go out and do activations, which there's one new bit of information around clubs that I'll share then. And then the newest plaques for this year, the plaques that are brand new for 2022 are the DX plaques by region. So we have a DX plaque for activators that make the most contacts from Region 1, from Region 2 outside of the contiguous 48, and then from DX Region 3. And then there's a hunter companion for each of those new DX plaques. So those are the fun new categories this year. And then with the club plaque, the thing that we like to share this year, there's been a lot of activity around clubs. Parks on the Air has always been very popular as an individual activity, but more and more clubs have been getting engaged. So just within the last month or so, we actually put out a POTA guide for clubs. So for clubs that are planning on going out and chasing down the club plaque this summer, we really do recommend that they go to the resources section at POTA.app and check out that guide for clubs, because it gives some hints and tricks and kind of the nuances to activating with a club so that folks can be successful that are having a go at that. So that's the actual event itself. We're expecting a pretty big turnout. If I had to guess, I'd say there will probably be, just based on past trends, there'll probably be at least 1,000 different parks put on the air by somewhere between 800 and 1,000 different activators. So it'll definitely be a very busy weekend. We might hit the 100,000 QSO mark in one weekend. maybe. We're kind of creeping up on that, every year. And yeah, it'll be busy and it'll be a lot of fun. And then once the event is over, the thing that's new this year that you had alluded to is we actually decided to do essentially an awards style show. So when it comes time to announce these winners, we have a whole slate of presenters lined up. So it'll be, like Oscars or Emmys style, where myself and another one of our volunteers, Matt N3NWV, who most folks know from like the POTA 101 videos that we put out, will be acting as the MCs. And then we have a whole slew of folks who are going to be actually announcing each category's winner. So we've got a couple of you representing AR Newsline. We've got Josh from Ham Radio Crash Course, Colin from ICQ Podcast, Steve from Temporarily Offline Ham Radio, Santiago from Ham World Online, Charlie from Red Summit RF, Alan from the Pride Radio Group, Rhea from Rhea's Shack, Michael from KB9 VBR Antennas, Kyle from AA0Z Ham Radio, Shane and crew from the Ham Radio Clubhouse. We've got James, the Ham Radio Adventure Guy, Mike, K8MRD Radio Stuff. We've got Larry from Ham Radio Live and WRMI Shortwave. And we've got George and friends from the Ham Radio Workbench podcast, and then Jason Johnston from Ham Radio 2.0. So we have a whole crew of folks that are going to basically help us announce those winners. So that'll be a lot of fun. The final date for the awards show isn't officially slated, but we're targeting 2 weeks after logs are due is when we'll be scheduling that right now. So that's all the fun stuff around the Plaque event. It's going to be an exciting July.
Well, it sounds like a great time to get out and operate from a park and a chance to bring home some hardware. So you gotta like putting another plaque on the wall. So that's a good option there for you. The July 16th and 17th, and yeah, if you're winning the club category, I'm sorry, but it's going to be Paul and I presenting it. So, well, just go ahead and apologize in advance. So, but yeah, it sounds like you've got the usual cast of characters there. So we'll be happy to help out with that. Well, it's time to get out. It's warm here in the U.S. and great time to get out and throw a antenna in a tree and get on the air. But there's a lot of work that has to go on behind the scenes. And just today, as we're recording this, it'll be a few more days before it's released. But as we're recording this, it's the first day of a new website feature that's going to help out some of that. So tell us about the new feature.
You bet. Yeah, today at I think it was 1200 UTC, so 8 Eastern where I am, our new self-service log uploader went live. So that's been probably the most requested feature for the website for a number of years, and we've been working on it for a while. We did several rounds of beta testing, and earlier in the week we hit the 7,000 logs uploaded in the new system via the beta testing groups. So put a few final polishing touches on it and launched it live to the public this morning. So now when folks log into POTA.app, under your menu on the right-hand side of the screen, you have an option for My Log Uploads, and you can see the history of all of your logs that have been uploaded since the beginning of POTA. And then there's just a file dialog box right there that you can open up to upload your ADIF logs. So basically the same logs that have been getting sent to the email addresses, you can now just drop right in that box and they'll zip right in. It's the development team has come up with some pretty slick features within that people will find as they use it. You can upload multiple logs at once. So if you go and do a rove and you have 6 logs, you can drop 6 logs in at once and click the button, and within a few minutes you'll see the stuff starting to update on the website. So that's been exciting news this morning. And even in just the few short hours it's been live, we're up to I think we're approaching 600 logs uploaded already today in that new system. So it's off to the races, which will be a big benefit this summer for the plaque event, because everybody can go out, do their activations, drop their own logs in right away, and then just wait to see if they won.
Yeah, anytime you can auto magically update all those logs, well, that's always a great thing. So that should pay many dividends for you all having to move all those logs around everywhere and kind of automate things to where they'll just auto magically happen. So that's a cool thing. And again, remind everybody of that web address.
Yep, it's just POTA.app. So pretty easy one to remember.
Yeah, so POTA.app. There we go. All right. Well, and then, last time you were on the show, we were talking about your POTA update, and you're recording a monthly update, I believe it is. And we've been running some pieces of that over on Amateur Radio Newsline. And I know many other outlets have been running it as well. So you've got a little bit of an update on that. So give us the POTA update.
Yeah, so the POTA update, and this is hot off the presses. So I've been involved with POTA since the beginning. So I basically have ended up with my hands in just about every pot there is. So I was actually looking to offload some work to some of our fellow volunteers. And one of our volunteers that helps out is Matt N3NWV, who actually has his own YouTube channel and things. So I was able to, without regret, pawn off the responsibility of recording the monthly updates onto Matt. So a lot of people that are familiar with POTA already know Matt's face. They know his voice because he recorded all of our POTA 101 videos for how to do things. So he's a very familiar face to the POTA crowd that watches YouTube also. So he'll be the new face of the POTA updates starting in August. So the next update that comes out will be the last one that I record, and then Matt's going to take the reins of the POTA updates from there, which I will admit will probably actually help the quality of the updates, because he's set up to do some real nice audio and video recording. So as much fun as it was, I guess, for people to kind of watch me in my basement shack here doing the updates, the production quality on those updates should jump up quite a bit when Matt takes over. So I'm looking forward to a little bit more free time, and he's looking forward to taking the reins on that.
Yeah, and you're a lot like me. You want to take on everything yourself and get everything in and get your hands into everything. And at some point, it's like you got to back off. you gotta let some stuff go. And sounds like this will be a good move for all of you to update the POTA update. So. We'll look forward to hearing those and get you some time to work on some other things. Because again, kind of like me, you've always got something cooking. So we'll check in with those, and I know we'll continue to have those over at Amateur Radio Newsline as well. All right, well, we're going to take a break, and when we come back with Vance, we'll talk a little more Parks on the Air right after this word from ICOM America, right here on Ham Talk Live. Keep your competitive contesting edge with ICOM. Our high-powered base stations cut through pile-ups, letting you work the bands and record those contacts. Contests from the comfort of your own home or remotely with the RSBA One app. Heard it, worked it, logged it. The IC7851 gives you a new window into the RF world and is HF excellence unparalleled. With faster processors, high input gain, high display resolution, and a cleaner signal, it is truly the pinnacle of HF perfection. It has dual receivers, digital IF filters, memory keyer, digital voice recorder, Spectrum waterfall display, and an SD card slot. The IC7610 is the SDR every ham wants. This high-performance SDR can pick out faint signals in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. The IC7610 by ICOM is a direct sampling, software-defined radio that has changed the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. It has 110 dB RMDR, dual digicell, dual receiver, and RF direct sampling. Create your own band opening with the IC9700. This transceiver radio brings direct sampling to the UHF VHF weak signal world. It's loaded with innovative features that are sure to keep you busy. Faster processors, higher input gain, higher display resolution, and a cleaner signal. With a 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectroscope and waterfall display, dual watch operation, full duplex in satellite mode, and smooth satellite operation with 99 satellite channels. The IC7300 is a high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design that will far exceed your expectations. The innovative transceiver digitizes RF before various receiver stages, reducing inherent noise in different IF stages. The IC7300 changed the way entry-level HF is designed. It has 15 discrete bandpass filters, the large color touchscreen, spectrum scope, SD card slot, and RF direct sampling. The real HF fun starts here. Visit icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios.
Oh, yeah. You're talking ham radio, baby. You're listening to Ham Talk Live with Neil Rapp.
Welcome back to Ham Talk Live. Be sure you check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just been trying to work through my 13 colonies here, trying to get those last two bonus stations over in Europe. So we'll try that again here after we finish up some more Parks on the Air with Vance Martin in 3VEM. But first, you know what time it is. It's Joke of the Week time.
Now it's time for the Ham Talk Live Ham Radio Joke of the Week, a part of the show where Rick tells us a ham radio joke. The Ham Talk Live Ham Radio Joke of the Week is brought to you by QRM Labs. Now, here's Rick Garrett in 9 GSU with today's Ham Talk Live Joke of the Week.
I've been doing a lot of bicycle mobile operating recently, but I've got a problem. Every time I stop and get off my bike, it falls over. I guess it's just too tired.
This has been the Ham Talk Live Ham Radio Joke of the Week with Rick Garrett in 9 GSU. Tune in again next week for another joke from Rick.
We're back with Vance Martin in 3VEM talking about the big summer of POTA. It's Parks on the Air and all the summer activities. We've got the plaque event coming up the 16th and 17th, the new upload feature to the website that we've been talking about, and all these cool things that the POTA people have been putting together. So just you know, for someone who's not big into the parks thing yet, what exactly counts as a park? Like I said, a while ago, I was trying to do a satellite activation, make sure all the gear was working because I'm going to be doing a portable operation. And so I went down here to Union Park, just down the road. Is that going to count as a park?
Well, it would depend on if it's in the official list or not. So the quickest way for folks to check to see if a park counts and is in the list is just at the main website, POTA.app. At the top of the website, there's a search box, and you can just start typing in the name of a park and see if it pops up. You can also go to the menu and browse the park list by like country and state and things like that. But the search box is the easiest thing to use. But if you're looking for general guidelines, the program focuses on parks that are federal or state entities. that run them. So most of your national parks are included in the system. Most of your state parks are included in the system. Depending on the state, some of your like state fish and wildlife management associations, those parks and facilities are in the system. So the general rule is it has to be either state or federally owned and operated. And if you happen to come across a park in your area that is a state owned or federal owned that isn't in the system, there is a mechanism, some email addresses that are available at parksontheair.com for who the mapping representatives are by state. So then you can ping that person and say, hey, this looks like a state park that doesn't look to be in the system. And then they get to go off and do their homework and see if it's one that we somehow missed. And then they work on getting them added in. So that's the general scoop for which ones are and aren't parks in the system.
Okay. Well, I just went to the website here and punched it in, and Union Park was not on the list, but it's a local park, so not too surprised, but so maybe we've got that clarified here. And then the other thing that we want to talk about with summer being here is safety. I was outside and the grass is all crunchy because it hasn't rained in a while, and we've had all these crazy heat indexes. And I don't know if you followed us at Yoda here a couple of weeks ago. We were at Kings Island and 105 heat index. It was brutal being portable out there for 12 hours. But, there's some safety stuff that you need to keep in mind when you're activating a park, one of which is some dihydrogen monoxide.
You bet. Yeah. The most important chemical compound of them all when you're out and portable. The other thing that I tell folks, aside from the water is shade. So if you're going to be setting up for, any extended period of time, make sure you have water, make sure you have shade, make sure you have some snacks. There's a lot of what I would call standard outdoor safety stuff. But the thing that we also have to keep in mind as ham radio operators is, even though our activity as portable radio operation is generally within the permitted uses of public parks, it is an activity that's not normal to most people. So most other folks that would be wandering around in the area, curious what we're doing, they might not be aware that for something that is wireless, we have got ridiculous numbers of wires involved.
Yes, we do.
So we always remind people, like, hey, if you're setting up in a park where there could be other people, do something to make sure that folks aren't going to trip over your coax and wires and antenna stuff. Use little yellow flag tapes or set up, just a little off the beaten path so that you don't have to worry about that. And then the other thing that I recommend to folks, recently there's been a lot of talk about the new kind of RF safety evaluation rules for stations. So for a portable operator, we probably don't think about that a whole lot. But the math isn't that hard to do. You can go online and grab sheets to do it. And most of us have a pretty standard kit that we set up when portable. So it's usually pretty easy to say, like, well, I travel with this radio. It's never going to do more than 20 watts. And I have a 50-foot length of coax that I use, and I always use the same dipole antenna. So you can usually figure out kind of your safe distances. And then I say, print that out on a little card or something and just, stick it in your box. It would probably never actually become an issue, but it's a good idea to do. And then also along the lines of safety, Matt, N3NWV that I talked about, he likes to point out, and he actually had us add to the club guide, that when you're doing a club activation, really to keep the RF safety stuff in mind too. If you're doing a club activation and you've got some radios running and somebody wanders too close to the end of a dipole, you don't want to accidentally, cause RF burns to the general public that wandered by and touched a wire because they didn't know what it was. So, So there's a lot of that type of stuff that you should be considering as well.
Yeah, you just made me think back again to my park this afternoon. Carrying around the purple aero antenna, and I got a couple of strange looks, carrying around this big thing, taking it back to my car, and then we've got, Wimplota coming up here starting tonight. So, it's like, we're going to get all kinds of crazy looks. So, yeah, make sure you keep those around you safe as well. Some flags, something to let them know where those trip hazards are. That's always a big thing. So, well, it sounds like, with summer, having another month or two left here, we've got plenty of, opportunities to get out and activate a park and work some parks from home. So it sounds like a lot of fun and, like I said, chance to bring home some hardware, with the plaque event. So, Vance, thanks for coming on the show and letting us know what's going on with Parks on the Air, and I'm sure we'll do it again soon.
You bet. Yeah, thanks for having me, and I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of turnout we get coming up here on the 16th and 17th.
All right, sounds great. Let's see. July 17th is my ham-iversary. I didn't just now thought of that, so we'll have to celebrate with a Park on the Air, maybe.
That sounds like a perfect plan to me.
There you go. All right. Well, that is a wrap for this edition of Ham Talk Live. I'd like to thank my guest, Vance Martin, N3VEM, and everybody out there in cyberspace for listening, and invite you all back next time. For a list of all of our upcoming guests, go to hamtalklive.com. So for now, this is Neil Rapp, WB9VPG, saying 7375, and may the good DX be yours.
So 73s to you and your family. I'll be seeing you further down the lawn. Yeah, 73s to you and your family. I'll be seeing you further down the lawn.